Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors. A Work Tough Gear rendition, a Mount Laguna rendition, if you will. Kind of a surprise rendition. Was going to do one thing. This came in today from my guy, Timbo437. If you're not subscribed to Timbo437, you need to be. Hey, before we get into the video, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Vets, we love you. You have a place here. That number's going down. There's a lot of work to do. We're back to Blueberry with Sport Leo. How do you do that, Scab? Well, we don't break the damn law. And finally, if you are an addict, never quit quitting. So, before we get into the video too far, let me give you some specs, a little backdrop. This is the Mount Laguna. The designer is Wingman 115. I'm probably going to tag him in the title, but I'll put a link to his channel. Go check him out. The design concept honors his grandfather and his parents from over in Mount Laguna. It's a drop point Bowler K110 or D2. The Rockwell hardness is 57 to 59. It is a 4-inch blade. Overall length 8 1/4 inches. Now, it does have a rounded handle. It's that machined 3D G10 that Work Tough Gear does better than anybody else. It's got red liners. It does have a 90-degree spine. It is a saber grind with a convex edge. Now, the knife is 8.1 ounces. With the sheath, it's 9.7 ounces. Now, here's the deal, guys. Plain and simple. This was a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, so when I got the package today and I opened up, I was a little taken back. But I can tell you this, I was pleasantly surprised as the tests, the demos went on. Now, let me say this up front. We set up the reviews, the demos, however, whatever you want to call it. We just call them demonstrations. There's nothing that we do that's scientific. We use day-to-day tests or day-to-day things we use in our everyday lives. We're going to cut we're going to cut wood. You've seen us cut paper. We're going to cut water hose. There's going to be a lot of cutting in this video. Now, the other side is this. I set my videos up where you can turn off the narration, turn off the noise, and you'll still be able to watch the knife work. Why do I do that? Well, for a couple reasons. I can tell you all about a knife, or I can just show you how it works and talk about other shit here and there. And if you've watched more than one of my videos, you know that old Scabber will ramble. Now, I have to say this about Work Tough Gear. Every knife I've tested from them, or demoed, however the hell you want to say it, has been razor sharp. This one came from Timbo437, and it was still sharp as it could be. The handles, well done. Let me tell you something, guys. Their knives are highly functional. When we do a demonstration of a knife, we deal with the knife in hand. I don't put any credence or any credit into what anyone says who's never handled a knife. I don't care who you are, who you know, who you blow. If you've never handled it, never messed with it, I just don't care what you got to say. And I'm not trying to be an ass there. I think anyone with any sense would be the same way. Work Tough Gear makes incredibly well-built knives. Now, this right here, I'm going to tell you why I like this knife so much. I showed you some comparisons up front, and one of the knives that I compared it to was the Nomad EDC, another Work Tough Gear knife designed by Zeke Menacho. That Nomad EDC goes everywhere I go, every day of the week. There's no exceptions. Everywhere I go, that knife is with me. I like the size of this Mount Laguna, and you'll see me at the end. I just stick it in my pocket. I love that. Now, Timbo437 said, "Hey man, do you want to demonstrate?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And he said, "Cool, man. I'm gonna send it to you, and I'm gonna donate it to the channel." So here's what I'm gonna do, guys. Now here's this 2-inch ratchet strap. This is going to go in our 22 a day raffle. I will discuss that Monday the 28th with Joe on Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Zeke Menacho will be on there. The one thing I want you to know about that raffle is this. We have some fantastic knives. Not one dime comes to us. That's the big thing I need you to understand. Not one dime. Having said that, let's get into the knife, get into the review. That's that 2-inch toe strap, ratchet strap, whatever you want to call it. Now, right here, I like this test a lot. We drag that tip, we check the tip, check the sharpness, and just see how it holds up. You can see it split it right there in twain, son. This knife is an absolute workhorse. The one thing I did not do that I wished I would have done is strike a ferro rod on camera. It has a 90-degree spine. It will absolutely strike a ferro rod. And I'm going to tell you something. Yes, Work Tough Gear periodically will send me knives to test. Before anybody says, well, you favor them because of that, go watch one of my videos of any Work Tough Gear knife. Any Work Tough Gear knife you see me review, I go harder on than just about any knife out there. If you still want to say that after you've watched a couple of the Work Tough Gear videos I've done, well, then you're just a dumbass. I can't help you. They send me knives to demonstrate. I'm very appreciative, but I do go harder on their knives. Why? A couple reasons. One, I'm confident in any knife I get from Work Tough Gear. Supremely confident in any knife, and I can't state that enough. I will have demonstrated. I think this is probably, we're getting into the teens now. 4-inch blade, and we're going to do some light batoning. I love the design of this knife. I love the shape of this knife. It is a worker. It is a slicer. And I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell you just like this, just like that Nomad EDC, I would bank my life on this knife. Why? It's multifunctional. You've seen it cut ratchet strap. You've seen it cut water hose. You've seen it cut wood. You're seeing it baton. It's handling every stinking task we threw at it. We're going to cut paracord. We're going to cut cardboard. We're going to cut plastic. And then I'm going to butcher some cardboard. I've told y'all a million times, I am a novice at best. Take that for what you will. I can make a scalpel look like the dullest knife in the world. You got to bear that in mind through some of these demonstrations. But right here, see that drop point? I love the shape. Now, here is our zip tie test. We do this to test the edge. There have been zip ties that have chipped and dinged edges. There have. Not here, because again, I would bank my life on any Work Tough Gear. Why? Because the heat treat's going to be spot on. The build's going to be spot on. It's going to be razor sharp, and it's exactly what it says it is. Tough and a hell of a knife. Now, right here, again, just doing some light batoning. There's a lot of stuff in this video, guys, that you're going to see that's kind of repetitive. Honestly, when I pulled the knife out, I thought, oh man, cool. Now, Timbo has sent a couple of other knives, and I had actually messaged Donnie about them because I was getting his input on them. And then this one showed up, and I thought, well, hell, it's from Timbo 437. It's going in the raffle. I got a couple more knives that are going to be in the raffle that I'm going to review, and then I'm sending everything to DJ Horn so he can sharpen them back up, get them back on top, or hone them up. They won't need to be sharpened, because I want you guys to be able, the winners, I want you to have basically brand new knives. Now, right here, and I mentioned this a couple times, the handle's 4 1/4. I hadn't mentioned that, but it's rounded. What does that mean? Well, it fits the palm of my hand very, very well. I was a little concerned about the handle length up front, but with it being rounded and the thickness of that handle, I'm going to tell you, it fit comfortably. And again, there's nothing that I don't feel like I couldn't do with this knife. It's a great, great secondary knife. I'd have supreme confidence in it. This is just where we kind of penetrate and slide down on the plastic bottle. I really like this one too. You see it glide in there. Now, in a second, I'm going to go a little high in the tougher part of the plastic, and it's still no problem. Right here, I went real high, but I did that on purpose, almost to the neck. Almost to the neck. And again, I did that pretty much on purpose. Now, this cardboard box, well, this is my Indian War Club that I got to finish, amongst other things. I got a ton of stuff to do. But you can see right here, man, the knife just absolutely glides through this wood. No problem. I've got basically a hammer grip on the knife. It's very comfortable in hand. There were no hot spots. We did the John Peters stab test. We did the Donnie B all day, throw it at the stump test and drop test to test the balance, test the tip, do all that. While I'm here, Donnie B all day is marching to 10,000. Please go subscribe to him. Tell him old SCAB sent you. Now, here's our shout outs. Of course, Wingman 115, the designer of this knife, my guy, great job on the design. I love it. Timbo 437, Donnie Be All Day, and then Brothers of the Knives. And I'm bringing up Salty for a reason. Timbo 437 is one of those guys in the community like JR, like Rusty Knife Lover, who has no problem sending out knives. I know that Salty, Brothers of the Knives, Salty Redcorn, has demonstrated some of Timbo 437's knives. So go subscribe to those guys. I will put links in the description. And of course, my other channel, Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Go subscribe to Joe from Steel Forged and Fire Sword and Knife. Again, guys, right here, you just see it shaving it up. This is an absolute workhorse. I freaking love this little knife. Right here, doing some ninja stuff. You know, you always got to spin that knife around backhand when you're fighting somebody. That way, when the cops find you stabbed to death, they'll be like, they must have watched Scab on Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors teaching people how to knife fight. Right here, and I don't know where the hell that came from. We're just winging it. Right here's the paracord now. Why do we do all the cutting? Well, because that's what we do in our day-to-day knife life, guys. I've had people ask me, Scab, why don't you take them to failure? A couple reasons. One is because I don't take my knives to failure in everyday life. I could break every knife I have, but it doesn't prove anything, guys. And other channels do, and listen, I watch some of them, I enjoy some of them, but that's not what we do here. What I want to do here is give you honest, realistic demonstrations of things you would use a knife for every day, and do my best to show you how that knife performs. Now, I've said I'm a novice at best. That doesn't mean I'm an idiot. I use a knife every day. I really do. I would bank my life for the 15th time on Work Tuff gear. I love their designs. Now, some of them are tanks. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they perform. And I can tell you this, no matter how big or how small the knife comes, they all come razor sharp. The heat treat is always spot on. Always. Handles are always incredibly comfortable. Now, right there, son, this speaks to the knife. I got a humongous bite on that, and the knife pushed through. Yes, it took a minute, but it was also around a knot. And then we're going to do a little feather sticking, because, you know, it wouldn't be a Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors video if I didn't butcher up some feather sticking. Well, guys, listen, we got about a minute left. I just want y'all to know I appreciate every single last one of you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for riding with us. Thank you for sharing all of the videos. Thank you so much. Listen, my guy Mikey, who I love dearly, says it best. Never give up, never surrender, and everything will be all right. And Mikey's true. Now listen to me very carefully. There's certain things Mikey is different than us on, and that's okay. Okay, we need to respect one another and love one another. That's what makes this community so strong. Well, listen, guys, this is the Mount Laguna from Work Tuff Gear, designed by Wingman 115. Great job all the way around. Work Tuff Gear, Wingman, awesome. I'm Scab. You're not. I'm gone, son.